Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, oh, there's Hal.
How's everyone doing today?
Good morning or afternoon.
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah, probably a little bit of both for everyone.
Oh, that might be true.
Kevin, you ready for some snow and ice?
I wish I could say no, but I am as ready as I'm going to be.
Well, I bet you're ready for snow. You're in the thick of it, aren't you, in Atlanta?
I'm just gonna hunker down in front of the fireplace
There you go. That's a good idea right there.
I
because
I just
we
want to
got
know
that.
what they're call how much they think we're going to get. It's anywhere between 5 inches and 2 feet.
Yeah, we're looking at anywhere from 0 to a quarter inch of ice. So who knows?
I'll take any amount of snow over a little bit of ice.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is
For
everybody pretty
everybody
much in the
working
path?
tomorrow, I hope you get out early. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. I was just gonna say, is everybody pretty much in the path of the snow or ice storm, or some people? I know it's pretty widespread, but or are some people lucky not to be?
I think Noonan, it's a hit or miss for us down here. When we don't think we're in the path, we get sideswiped. Same thing with tornadoes too.
Yikes.
Yeah, well, it, so I just kind of take the position that hopefully not, that we don't get it. It just moves on through and skips us down here. We're too far south.
Y'all got some last week, didn't you?
Snow or sleet.
Or something.
I think we got a little bit of, you know, rain and wind. We had wind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
got
had the
about it.
wind down here.
We got an inch of snow in Macon, so a little farther south of you, Jackie.
How did I not know that?
I
That's
don't know.
amazing. Did you have a snow day?
Um, we canceled our first service of church. It kind of came up out of the blue. Like Friday, we were kind of like, oh, we could get an inch of snow, but again, it's like probably not. And then all of a sudden on Saturday, we went to 1 to 3 inches, and then got up in the morning and it just was raining, and sure enough, it turned to snow and accumulated a little bit. But it wasn't icy or anything. So I grew up in Wisconsin, so to me, again, it's not a big deal, but it's funny to see everybody get a little flustered about it.
Oh, yeah.
Last weekend we were supposed to get 2 to 3 inches. We got a dusting.
We're not going to get much snow in Wisconsin this weekend, but the high for tomorrow is -9. So we'll
Ooh,
feel that.
we
Yeah.
will be feeling that. Yikes.
We'll give it another minute here so it gives me more on, and then we'll get started.
Hey, Scott,
Yes, sir.
can we start off with a roll call?
With the roll call?
Well, just everybody introducing themselves and where they're at and possibly how many people they have attendance on a Sunday
Sure.
or square footage of their place. I just noticed there's some new people. So,
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm
so
just
So Tori decided it was a good idea to send me a text picture of his dashboard showing how it's 88 degrees in Florida.
Yeah, I got that earlier too.
That's nice.
It's gonna be 64 today, but
James, are you at home?
No, sir.
where are you
I'm
at?
in my I'm in my office truck.
Well, I guess I meant, are you in
What
Texas?
what state are
Oh
you in?
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
You are
I'm
in
I'm in
Texas.
Fort Worth, yeah. We're doing Justin Boots.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, let's get
That's why I
started.
keep looking.
Go ahead. Oh, nice background. I like it.
Oh, you like that? For those of you that don't know, in June we got a big date, good big week. Our conference in Roswell, Georgia. So
So all of you that have not signed up for that, we are in the middle of early bird registration. So
yeah.
Get in
take,
while you can.
yeah, yeah, get in early, save yourself some money.
Yeah, it saves $50, I think. 325 till January 31st, and then it goes up to 375.
And we're actually a pretty good group to hang out with.
All right.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
very family friendly. Bring your families. There's going to be activities for Wednesday's a whole family day that spouses can come and hear some encouraging things, and kids are welcome, and it's going to be a great time.
Perfect. All right. Let's get started. Let me pray really quick and we'll get going here. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you that you have brought men and women here to maybe pick up a little information, a little help, and God, we just thank you that they are taking a little bit of time out of their day to join us. And God, we just ask you bless this time. We ask you bless Jacqueline as she gives us a little spiel on pavement today. God, we ask all these things in your name. I pray. Amen. Okay, so uh, let's do a quick introduction. Looking at the list here. James, you disappeared on me. Hang on. All right, Kevin, you go first.
Kevin
Quick.
Kaufman, in Annapolis, Crofton area of Maryland. Have about 1,000 people Sunday and 40,000 square feet.
Awesome. Alexander, you want to jump in?
Sure. I'm from Appleton, Wisconsin, and our main location is about 175,000 square feet. And we've got 3 locations total, and our average weekly attendance is about 3,000 each weekend.
Awesome. Nice to have you. Troy?
Yeah, I'm Troy Odekirk. I'm in Golden, Colorado, part of Flatirons. We have multiple locations, but our location here is probably just over 80,000 square feet, and we have about 900 to 1,000 at our location.
Awesome. Jake Thompson.
Yeah, I'm Jake. I also work for Flatirons with Troy. I'm the support and development facility director. We have 5 current locations. We're about to open another location here in 27 and possibly move a couple buildings. We range from our broadcast locations about 165,000 square feet down to one of our buildings is 18,000 square feet. And I don't know, Troy, correct me if I'm wrong. All statewide or Flatirons wide attendance is probably somewhere around 15,000 a weekend,
Yeah.
including all of our campuses, I want to say.
So,
Awesome. Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew Scott. I'm here in the North Atlanta area in Alpharetta, First Baptist Church in Alpharetta. We are Two locations, one main campus and a satellite campus meeting in a middle school. The main campus, we are 85,000 square feet, and we're about 1,400 on a Sunday at our main location.
Awesome. Thank you. Who am I got here? Let's see. Elson, you want to jump in?
I can. Thank you, Scott. I'm Elson Baldwin in Charlotte, North Carolina at the St. Paul Baptist Church. We have one location, a couple of sanctuaries. We have about 125,000 square feet. Our weekly attendance is up and down. We're about 2,000 per week. And we have 112 units of housing that we built, own, and manage that are adjacent to our campus.
Awesome. Awesome. James, you want to jump in? Is he hearing me? No, he bailed out again. Hal, how about you?
Hal Rose, Fellowship Bible Church, Roswell, Georgia. We have about 110,000 square feet building space on 47 acres. And our average Sunday attendance is right about 1,500.
Awesome. Awesome. James, man.
Yeah, so James Burns, serve as the director of groups for NACFM. I am a facility consultant. I just switched to that role about 9 months ago. Anyways, I'm at Lake Church where we're about 250,000 square feet, two buildings, full-size gymnasium type stuff, and our average attendance, I believe, is around 1,500 a week, something like that. We operate two schools out of our facility. So
Awesome. Thank you. I think I snagged everybody. If I didn't, somebody else holler, but I'm not seeing. Oh, no, I got a couple more here. Tyler.
My name's Tyler Roberts. I work alongside John Bernard over here at Red Rock Church in Colorado. I take care of our Littleton campus, which is about 48,000 square feet, give or take, and then about an acre worth of landscape or so. Yeah, any given week in between Saturday and Sunday, we're seeing about anywhere between 3,000 and 4,000 people.
Awesome. Thank you, Tyler. Sam.
Sorry, I'm finishing up some lunch here.
all
I am a much smaller church than y'all. I thought coming here it was a big place, but so I'm Sam Edwards, Mount Vernon Baptist Church in Atlanta. Our average attendance is about 340. So I guess we could fit in a quarter of y'all's places. We have about a 94,000 square foot facility, but very thankful to be where we are and who we have.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam. Monty. Is he there? All right.
Chris must have called him away from the computer.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm Scott Moore. I am the Director of Facilities here and Vice President of the NACFM. I'm in Lubbock, Texas. We're at First Baptist Church here, 300,000 square feet. And our attendance is, I don't know, we're probably around that 1,200 range on a Sunday. So thank you all for joining us today. We have a guest this morning or this afternoon, I guess, from most people that have joined us today. Jackie Renfro is a project manager for Southeast Pavement in Georgia, and I'm going to turn this over to her. Well, if you have any questions, write them down. I know I've got a few here that people sent in ahead of time, but hold them till the end, and we'll get around and try to answer everything we can. So, Jackie, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. And nice to meet everyone. I'm looking forward to presenting some of this information for you today. And I hope, I guess at the end of the segment, the goal would be to equip you all with some knowledge to put in your toolkits as you start to evaluate your facilities, your maintenance needs, to be able to have a better understanding of the causes that come with some type of asphalt failure over time, and just give you a better overall understanding of what would be a maintenance project versus a capital project and how to prioritize that accordingly. So with that, I thought we would start with, see if I can get this to go forward here. There we go. Parking lot materials. What are we managing? And with that, most facilities I find have a combination of both types of materials. Most of your parking lots are going to be asphalt, whereas you're going to have some kind of combination of concrete in there, which could be curb and gutter, could be sidewalks, could be concrete pads for your dumpster areas. You may even have some concrete parking stalls for your ADA areas, or possibly a concrete roundabout within your property. Both of these type materials are managed a little bit differently in how you care for them and the cause and effect of where you could see some failures with those materials. And starting with concrete, concrete is more of a rigid pavement, designed to carry heavier loads, but it has less flex than asphalt. Whereas asphalt is more of a flexible pavement designed to kind of absorb some of those traffic loads that come across it. And I think it's important for education purposes to kind of share with you what is the material that comprises asphalt. And that will kind of distinguish when you're looking at maybe some potential maintenance opportunities or capital projects, kind of give you a flavor of why this is happening, right? So asphalt basically is made up of aggregated rock in various sizes and sort of a liquid asphalt, and the two are combined together. And the asphalt works like a glue of sorts. So when it comes out of the mix at the silo, it's 140 degrees, and those two kind of gel together, and that's laid out in layers to build your parking lot. So the binder layer that would go on top of your rock in your parking lot would be a denser aggregate with the same type philosophy of putting the tack or gel with it to mix it as it's spread out throughout your parking lot. A layer of glue, if you can imagine, that's another type of tack that goes on there, and then you have another layer of asphalt. So a typical standard parking lot would be, I would say, 6 inches of base, pure aggregate rock, compacted, 2 inches of binder, and then another 1.5 to 2 inches of topping asphalt on top of that. And then once the asphalt goes down into the parking lot, there is another layer, and I like to think of it like a membrane. It's a protective barrier that is put over the parking lot, and it protects the asphalt from the elements, fluids, water, you name it. It's a petroleum base, but it's an important barrier, and it gives the parking lot a really good sheen. So if you've come into a new parking lot and you can tell that it's just been installed, everything looks very smooth. You don't see any aggregate rock shining through. That protective barrier is on there to help extend the life and protect the asphalt. So that's sort of where we can start with those two things. Now, with the concrete, that is basically comprised of sand, rock, and mix. It's framed up, it's poured into the areas, it has specific thickness and specs, just like asphalt. The only difference between, I think, the asphalt and concrete is that concrete essentially takes less maintenance than asphalt. The design of it is to carry that load, and when it does have a failure, unfortunately, typically the repair is to demo and re-pour that area. So let's move on to the early warning signs. So I put a couple of examples up here of some parking lots that I've recently been in to use as some visual aids today for our conversation. Your early warning sign in your parking lot when you conduct your walkthrough, the first thing is to look for is cracking. And I think what really is cracking? Well, it's linear or random cracks that fail in the asphalt. And sometimes they're very fine. Sometimes you can see them moderately, like the visual aid that I have on the left here. And then other times you'll see cracking where they're very pronounced and it's like 3/4 of an inch to an inch wide, just depending on the area and the stage that the cracking is in. And how does this happen? Like that would probably be my next question is, okay, I have that in my parking lot, but how did that happen? Where did it come from? What happened to make that occur? There is a variety of reasons why that cracking starts in a parking lot. One would be temperature. You have expansion and contraction, through the seasons. That could be a factor. Water's always a factor in most anything where these type materials are concerned. Traffic stress over time, just cars coming in and pulling out. Also aging asphalt. Asphalt does have a life cycle. And it could be drainage. If you have low areas or areas that are not properly draining and you have pooling, that can also exacerbate a situation with vehicles, a combination of all of the above, vehicles, weather. An example that I can give on cracking that might help is if you have an area on your asphalt that for whatever reason it was stressed, and a fissure started, a small one or inclusion, and then now you have rain and you have hot and cold weather and you have cars riding over it. The water is going to seep into that crack, and the denser and wider and longer that the crack becomes, the water keeps seeping down through there and eventually makes its way underneath into the underlayer of your asphalt, which will start to create more problems. And that's usually what the preventive maintenance activity is for, is to stop that progression when you see cracking in order to extend the life expectancy of your parking lot. And a typical parking lot should get at least 15 years or more with proper preventive maintenance. When the cycle arises that you should give maintenance, which we'll talk about in just a second. So on the right is a photograph of a parking lot that has recently had crack fill, and that would be the remedy of how, what do I do now that I see these? How do I address it? The answer would most likely be crack fill those areas. And if you can see these black lines that look sort of slick in the picture throughout the parking lot, this is where all of the cracking that we found that was prominent has been filled. And to kind of go a little bit further, how that solution is done, there's a machine that has a hot liquid like a tack, and we determine the most prominent cracks that we know are going to create the most critical problems and stress out the asphalt. And then we go through, and through the length of that crack, we plug it. And what that does for you is it stops those problems from becoming more significant and creating other failures on your asphalt for you, which, and again, would help extend the life of your asphalt. One thing I would like to clarify is no one ever gets all of the cracks. And that is something to keep in mind when you're going through this maintenance activity, is when we look at it, we look at the largest, biggest, most problematic cracks that you have in the parking lot. And that's what we tackle. And I would assume most other companies that would come in would similarly approach it in the same fashion. So for all of you here, my next question would be, well, what do I do with the ones that didn't get crack fill on it? You monitor those, keep an eye on it. Rule of thumb is every 3 to 5 years, you maintenance your parking lot with this activity, starting with the crack fill. And there's a couple of others that would be within I would consider maintenance activities to help preventative measures from larger problems occurring. So once you have your crack fill completed on your parking lot, the areas that didn't get filled in the next year, come look at them. You know that at least you have 3 years, and you can factor that as a soft cost and look at what your cost was this time in this cycle to get the crack fill done. Everything is done in linear feet. And then keep that. And then in year 2, if you see that it's acerbating and it's becoming a larger problem, the ones that didn't get filled, call your local rep, whoever is servicing you, and have them come out and just do a quick site inspection and see if they feel like they might need to crack fill in between for you. But you should be able to go between cycles with the most egregious cracks resolved. So from there, the next step after you address crack filling would be seal coating. That would be the next step. And these two are typically done, together. Seal coating is sort of like that. Remember when I said earlier that when new asphalt is installed, it has like a membrane of sorts, a protective barrier on the asphalt to help maintain and keep water, oxidation, travel of cars, all the things, that would remove that barrier, because it's a petroleum base. So it's there for a certain amount of time and then it wears off like anything as use. Seal coating would be the next step to reapply that protective barrier. I can't tell you, it's a very simple process. It takes 2 coats, and as you can see, they're squeegeeing it on there. It really does help extend the life of your parking lot by conducting that maintenance in tandem with the crack fill. And again, seal coating is one of those activities that it goes every 3 to 5 years to seal coat. The best time of year to address seal coating would be in the late spring or early summer through, I would say, if you have a warmer fall, I guess use this as a rule of thumb, 70 degrees and rising, and that would be surface temperature of your asphalt. So if you're having really cool nights in the 60s and 50s, that probably might not be a great time to put seal coat on your parking lots. Seal coat cures best in warmer weather. And once the application is put down on your asphalt, over time, like the next 30 days, it will cure more and you will see some visible difference. Now, the second photograph that I have on this slide is a parking lot that I took a picture of about 2 weeks ago. And as you can see, in this parking lot here, you can see a lot of aggregate rock. And unfortunately, sometimes, maintenance cycles, people change, properties are bought and sold, and cycles are missed for whatever reason. And if the seal coating process is ever stopped for an extended period of time and that barrier, that protective barrier is removed, the rock, because like I had mentioned in my first slide, asphalt is made up of aggregate rock and liquid asphalt for the most part, tack or glue. Once cars begin to ride over the asphalt for extended periods of time, the rock will be able to start showing through, as you see here in this picture. Now, if you see any of this in your parking lots, that doesn't mean that you still can't move forward with seal coating. I would advise highly that you should, and on a regular basis, and keep an eye on it every 3 to 5 years. But I do want to alert you that once you start seeing aggregate rock like this in your parking lots, that seal coat is not going to bond as well as it did before the aggregate rock started coming through prominently. As you can see from one picture to the next, from the left to the right, less aggregate rock is showing coming through. It's got more of it's seeped in and bonded more over here than here. But it will absolutely bond. You just need to keep an eye on it and make sure that once you put it on a schedule, try to stay on that maintenance schedule for that preventive maintenance for it. That'll really help out and delivery of more longevity for your asphalt. And last but not least in the maintenance bucket is striping. So I have two photographs here for striping, and basically we all are kind of familiar with striping. You do need to stripe ever so many years. I would say at least every 5 years on striping. Sometimes, if you have a busy facility with a lot of vehicles, a lot of activity going on, you might want to keep an eye on it. I have customers, as you can see on the left-hand side, I have customers that will elect to stripe without seal coating. And that's an option. You absolutely could. If you're, maybe if your striping looked a little worn out in places and you wanted to stripe, you absolutely could have that parking lot striped and then come back and seal coat at a later time. Typically, restriping goes in tandem with seal coating. And as you can see it on the picture on the right side, this parking lot has been seal coated and recently restriped. I would urge everyone, when you're looking at restriping your parking lot with seal coating, to review your ADA, and if you need any new logos or spaces, that would absolutely be a great time to get that done. Restriping, as you know, helps with visibility for pedestrians, visibility for, passengers that are, driving their cars through your parking lot. It helps, everyone navigate busy parking lots a lot easier when the striping is visible, more visible. Seal coating and striping also have a curb appeal, and it gives the parking lot a nice shine and a gloss, and it really refreshes it. And if you look between the two photographs of the parking lot that wasn't seal coated versus the one that does, you can definitely see a visual difference in how that could have a lot of curb appeal. So now we're going to move on to more of not a capital expense, but what I would consider more of a high-end maintenance. It's not preventive, but this would be considered a maintenance activity, and that would be potholes. Pricing, what happens with potholes? How do these potholes come about? I see them. We may have had some at our facility, but what really makes up why that failure occurred? And there's, again, a variety of reasons why you could get a pothole. It could be water infiltrated through the cracks and reached some of that base material that, I discussed a little bit earlier. That would definitely create voids and weaken the asphalt underneath. And with traffic flow over it, the base material weakens further, and it starts to you'll start to see some cracking, and then some particles of the asphalt will start to pull away. And then as you can see, this particular pothole that I took a picture of had a little bit of residual rainwater in there. So once you put vehicles with the heat of the vehicle and water rolling through it, over time, that pothole becomes larger and very disruptive for a number of reasons. This particular pothole was about an inch and some change. So in thinking about what we had discussed in regard to how many inches of asphalt that we have on our parking lot, this pothole has gone through about the first layer of asphalt already. And we see a little bit of loose aggregate in there. If that's left unattended, it'll just continue to go expand out and down as cars roll over it. So now we think, what's the fix for that? What can we do to address it if we have that or see it? I think the first and the best practice would be to saw cut that area is a maintenance option and get all of the damaged or weak asphalt. Pretty much think about an imaginary square or a rectangle, however that would work out for the area that is weak, and putting that down around that target area, and then making a map of sorts, coming in, cutting all that asphalt away, and going down about 3 inches into the base, and then applying new asphalt there. And that would be your best fix for a pothole. And I would think visually, or as you're looking at that, a pothole simply comes from cracks that somehow got missed and became problematic due to the combination of water, weather, cars running over it, daily driving over that. All of those things culminate that problem. And when you start to patch potholes, that's when you really need to look at the asphalt and how well the asphalt is faring in those areas as well as others. Is it aging? Is this just an isolated incident, or could it be more systemic? Do I have problems that I didn't know I had? And that's when you want to really start evaluating, when you start seeing areas like this right here. Now, on the right side is a photograph I took last week of a parking lot that I went to, and I wanted to bring this in because I think it's a good visual aid. I don't get many this robust, let's put it that way, that I get to share. So it's a really extreme example, but I think a worthy one. And that's addressing base failure. Remember when we first started the discussion, I indicated that certain areas of your facilities may have a concrete pad, and that concrete pad would, in my opinion, be poured to support a dumpster. That's where they come in and remove your trash. And the reason for those concrete pads is because of base failures. Concrete is not, like I mentioned, it's not very flexible. It's supposed to be a firmer type material to be able to support heavier vehicles. And what's happened here in this area is in front of you, there is a green, like AstroTurf, which is hiding the dumpster. And these trenching that you see right here is where the trash truck comes in, puts the forks up, picks up the dumpster, and when it's pulling the dumpster to the rear to dump it, it rocks. So every time it rocks, it's creating these little grooves, as you see right there. Well, over time, that rocking has created base failure. So what is base failure? Base failure is when you have a vehicle or something that is beyond the weight class of what the asphalt was designed to be able to hold up. And the trenching that you see is the asphalt has pulled away, and so has the GAB, the rock underneath. So basically, the rock has lost its compaction and the asphalt has failed. So when you have a base failure, you go all the way down to the sub-base of where the parking lot was built. You take the damaged area, you cut all that away and dispose of it. Then you put new rock in, recompact it, and then you layer again your asphalt. If you have an area that was damaged, another example of base failure that I can give you, and I try to pull real world experiences. I had a customer that had some roofing done on their buildings, and the roofer, the company that came to, I guess they had like 6 or 7 roofs put on. They brought a lot of heavy equipment. Parking lot specifications weren't designed to withstand some of the equipment, and as a result, they had some base failure in the center of the parking lot where these vehicles were, I guess, turning. And we went in and had to basically cut out about half of that parking lot and build it back up again. That would be a real world example of base failure. If you choose to have an asphalt pulling up to your dumpster, my first suggestion would be to have a heavy duty spec, which would be more layering of asphalt there. It doesn't have to be throughout your entire parking lot, but in that section, I would definitely want more asphalt so that you would not experience this base failure. Or you could simply, if you may already have a concrete pad, but those are some compare and contrast. A base failure would absolutely be considered a capital expense. So from there, we're moving on to another capital expense project, which is alligator cracking. And as you can see from this picture, this is one that also I pulled out that I thought would be a really good visual for everyone as we go through this portion. So what is alligator cracking? Alligator cracking in its essence is when the base is no longer doing its job. It's aging, it's had water intrusions, traffic. It could be if you have school buses that drive through your drive lanes and they do the turns around, in and out of the facility, you may see a similar type of progression of alligator cracking due to a combination of water, weight, traffic. All of those things are now brought together, and also aging asphalt is primary concern. Alligator cracking looks simply like this. It looks like many, many, many puzzle pieces that are put together. And when it gets to this stage, that's when you are looking at a capital expense and saying, okay, so we know why it is and how it happens. What do I do? Well, when you get to this juncture with your asphalt, you're kind of at end of life, and it may not be your entire parking lot. You could have several parking lots that comprise your facility. It could be just one area, but that one area, if it's like this, my advice would be to start thinking about resurfacing or milling and paving that area. And the process for that would simply be to take 2 inches off the surface of the entire affected area. So a machine would come in, pull off the whole top of your parking lot, pretty much down to the base layer, which would be the bottom layer of asphalt that was originally poured, because that layer of asphalt should be okay if the top portion of this alligator area hasn't infiltrated down into the base. If the base is good, you can just take off this whole first layer, and 2 inches would be the max. In some cases, you take off just 1.5 inches, and then you come back and you repave the whole area, and essentially that gives you a new parking lot without having to go full depth, which would be taking, taking out the base and putting new base in and putting a new topping in. So in thinking about that, as you're looking at your parking lots and you're going through your evaluation, I would just sort of have a checklist, what is preventative? Where am I at in the life cycle of my parking lot? If I'm in the earlier stages of it, then you could plan some preventive maintenance to help the longevity of your parking lot, knowing that at some juncture you will have a capital expense. If you're somewhere in between and you have a little bit of maintenance, that's fine too. You've still got time to plan for that when that year, that day comes that you need to resurface your parking lot. I would like to say that when you patch, that doesn't give you a new parking lot. That just sort of buys time for you to plan accordingly when it comes to the more expensive capital projects. So I hope this has been informative for you all in terms of why things happen, what to look for, and maybe some best practices along the way to help you as you go through and evaluate your facilities. I know if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions for you all. And if you would like to get a copy of the deck that I used today to, kind of use for a visual aid, you can reach out to NACFM and they'll get you the deck.
Awesome. Thank you, Jackie.
You're welcome.
Let's move to some questions. We got a couple turned in here already, but let me see here. So Jackie, is there any disadvantage to mill and repaving a large lot in phases?
Okay, that's a great question. And the only disadvantage I can foresee of doing it in phases is labor costs. So when a company mobilizes and goes out to mill and pave a location, you have all the machinery and the crew there at one time when they mobilize and they come out. So if you take the cost of labor and whatever that labor burden was initially, you add it on and split it, that's where your uptick would be. That would be the only disadvantage that I would see.
Awesome.
And it
Sam,
may work out for a budgetary constraint for you, but that would be something I'd want to be cognizant and visible of and ask some questions on.
Sam, does that answer that question for you?
Yeah, that's great.
Awesome. Okay, here's one, Jackie, that's not it's related to asphalt, but it's not directly asphalt itself, but what's the best way to mount traffic delineators since those big screws seem to pull out of the asphalt every 6 months or so?
Are you talking about like signage?
Yeah.
Are they bolted in or are they screwed in?
We have they're not cones, but they're like the tall cylinder pieces that you put between lanes, and they inevitably get pulled out every 6 months or so.
Okay.
They have the big screws that
They
come
go
with.
in there and they're almost like the same type of pins that go in a car stop. I'm thinking that, let me take that question, Hal.
Okay.
I'll get you a response on that because I think that maybe what's happening is those screws, they get kind of knocked and dinged by the cars and they get loose and then like anything, that you mount, after a while it gets weak and the hole gets bigger and then it comes out. And that's what
Yeah,
I'm imagining that it's doing in your pavement. And you don't want it there permanently, correct?
I do.
You do? You could concrete it.
Okay.
Yeah, you could put some concrete in there and concrete it down, but there could be another option besides the concrete.
Okay.
I do know of a different material, but let me check on it for you and I'll shoot you an email on it.
All right, sounds
See if
good.
that might bind as well for you.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Okay, does anybody else have any other questions for Jackie?
I got one. Um, the building I'm in is phase one of three
Okay.
phases. Um, Getting ready to start phase two. But when they finished the parking lot, they only did the base coat, never did the top seal or top coat of asphalt and seal. I've got parts of the parking lot where the aggregate is coming out. Is
Okay.
it advisable to, at this point, try to seal it so that it doesn't deteriorate further? Because we're obviously going to have to uh, mill it up and redo the asphalt when
Okay.
we're done with the second project or overall all three phases.
Okay. So let me ask you a couple questions. When you say that the binder was put down, is this when you say phases, are you erecting a new ground up project there?
Yes,
Okay.
we've got two more additions to the existing building.
Okay. And is this a brand new parking lot that's ground up and they've kind of put the binder in so that you can continue your work?
Well, they put the first layer of asphalt down when the park building was first
Okay.
phase was
Okay.
built
That's
and have
typical.
just striped it. That was 10
You've
years
got
ago.
binder and they put some striping to help you out so that you would have some stalls to be able to park in and still
Yeah,
maintain the construction. Okay. And how long has this binder been in place? Do you know?
10 years.
So you've had that binder down for 10 years and the aggregate's coming through from it now, and you haven't put any topping on it, correct? It
Yeah.
doesn't have a second layer? And your question is, should you seal coat it or
What can I do
fill
to
it up?
try to keep it from deteriorating further um,
Okay.
since we're not ready to do the final coat of
I
asphalt?
would I would recommend a patch.
Okay.
I wouldn't go any further than a patch on that. And when you say aggregate, do you have a pothole like in the picture?
No, I don't have a pothole yet, but the aggregate's coming out of the
Okay.
coming loose,
It's
and I'm
it's
going to have a
rattling.
pothole soon.
It's like rattling on you. You're starting to see rabble like
Yes.
millings. Yeah, I definitely would have I would try a patch over there. You might even be able to cold patch that area, Kevin,
Okay.
and get through. It depends on when you're phase three and how big of an area that's rattling. If it's rattling in a larger area, I would definitely think about getting a patch put on there, getting some more material added in there and compacted to kind of refresh it a little bit, and so you can make it through till you finish your phase two that you're working on.
Okay.
I
Thank you.
definitely wouldn't put a new parking lot in or put any new asphalt in until you finish all three of your phases, though.
Yeah, that's the plan, but I'm just trying to keep it from falling apart before we get there.
Yep. That's patching is what I would recommend to help with that rattling.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Kev. Anybody else? Nobody?
There was one in the chat. Is there any material that could be temporary fix for cracks as large as 1.5 inches wide? That's from James.
That's a pretty large crack. I can't think of anything off top of mind that you could get from like a Home Depot that would take care of that. You might be able to cold patch because that 1.5 inches is that's pretty significant gap. You might be able to get a little bit of that cold patching material and plug up that area until you could, be able to make arrangements to get it resolved. And cold patching will hold up for a little bit if that's the route you'd like to go without having someone come out and take care of it for you.
Cool, cool. Okay.
think I see.
So James says the one that just asked that last question says that his audio is not working, but he says they have extensive miles and miles of cracks. Thank you.
Okay. If you have extensive miles and miles of cracks, I would definitely invite someone to come out and conduct a site inspection and see if those miles and miles of cracks are starting to form alligatoring patterns. And if that's the case, then you need to look at some more aggressive maintenance, but definitely get it checked into. If it's what I'm thinking it is, I think that's a little bit more than just crack fill will help it. It might help for a time, but it would probably be a good idea to get another opinion on it and start thinking about when you get the results, next steps on that.
Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else? James is asking you for your contact info.
Sure.
Jack.
You can reach me at 678-675-8350. That's my mobile number. Or you can email me at Jackie, JACQUE, at SEPAVE. And I'll put this in the chat window for everyone.
Awesome. Thank you.
And this is my email and my mobile number. For anyone on the call, please feel free to reach out to me if you want to shoot me photographs or ask questions offline after you look at your facilities, even though I might not be, in your state or within your community. I'm more than happy to take a look at it and give you best advice that I can on some go forward strategies or brainstorm with you.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, before we close, go ahead.
Yep, and this is my phone number.
Perfect. Does anybody have any questions in general, whether it's for Jackie or some other question that you'd like somebody to see if we can answer for you? Everybody's quiet. All right. Well, Jackie, thank you. Everyone, thank you very much. Everyone needs this. For those of you in this massive storm, stay safe and be praying for the board next week as we meet for our annual meeting in Atlanta. Hopefully we can get to Atlanta and be praying for us as we do some planning and prepping. Be with Hal and his church as they get ready for our conference in June. And remember, you have till the end of next week to for that early bird sign up for the conference. So love y'all, and thanks for being with us. We'll get a date out for our next one. It'll probably be sometime in April. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everyone. I enjoyed today very much.
Thank you. You gonna pray us out, Scott?
You betcha. Heavenly Father, we just thank you. We thank you that you give us the opportunity to get together. We thank you for fellowship. We thank you for the jobs you have given us and entrusted in us. So God, we just ask you to continue to walk with us, walk with our families, be with those in our congregation who we serve. And God, we just thank you so much for who you are in the lives of each one of us. We ask all these things in your name, I pray. Amen.
Amen.